Hey, my friends, it's Katie. I am hopping in tonight from the boardwalk down by the sea here in Campeche by the sea, and thought I would jump on here and do our devotion from here tonight, as well as share a little bit of our story from one of my favorite spots in the whole world. So we're talking about Nehemiah as we lead up to this event, Handprint Legacy Live. And Nehemiah's vision, the vision that God gave him for a work that he was not qualified to do, but a work that was super, super important in the whole history, the whole story of what God was doing for the children of Israel. And the point I want to make tonight is that this is more than just your story. This is God's story. This story that he is working out in you and in your business and in the people that you serve is more than just your story. This is his story that he's writing. And the legacy piece of this, the handprint legacy that our business is called, is because what you do today has the opportunity to affect generations from today. The stories that you write, the videos that you make, the books that you write, the courses that you create, the people that you impact. This is not just about today and your story. This is about generations. And little did Nehemiah know when he set out on his journey that his story would be one that would be talked about for generations to come, for centuries and centuries after him. And so it's important that you recognize this vision that God has given you. And that God is creating a plan that is bigger than just you and bigger than just the now in what he's doing. Nehemiah had no way to know that in 2021 we would still be inspired by his obedience and by the things that he did for the Lord. And so when we came to Campeche in 2010, we didn't know all that God was doing. We didn't know, we thought this would be the end of the journey. We thought this was where we would be for forever, doing work in a children's home, in a really tiny children's home in the city here by the sea in Campeche, Mexico. We thought this would be our forever home. Little did we know we would be there 9 months, and then God would move us elsewhere. And this is the view that I'm looking at here. You can see the boardwalk over here that extends for miles and miles and miles down the bay of Campeche. And the sun is setting, as it does almost every night here over the bay. It looks like we've got some clouds tonight, so it may cover up our view. We may not be able to see a really clear sunset, but it's just starting to dip into the water. We love coming down here and watching the sunset. We swing back around this way. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. Here's the Novia del Mar, they call her, the Bride of the Sea statue. And there's a story behind that, but the sea keeps going on up there. That's a wharf, and beyond that there's more seashore. But this is where God brought us after a very, very, very difficult time in another ministry. This is where he brought us, and we thought we'd be here for forever in the ministry that we came to. And after 9 months, that ended too. And yet, that was not the end of the story, because God is still working his story in us. And one day, as we were sitting here by the sea watching the sunset and running all these things over in our heads, and I was thinking about all that God was doing and all that God was starting to heal us from and things, I had this moment where I looked out here at the sunset over the water, and I was taken back to my childhood, to a time where I used to draw pictures of the sun setting over the sea, just like this, the calm sea, the sunset, except in my pictures there was always a sailboat. There's just a little fishing boat out here tonight, but God took me back to that picture, and I remembered that even as a child growing up in the mountains of North Carolina, the mountains of Western North Carolina, every time I was moved to draw a picture of what signified peace for me, it was always sunset over the water. And it took me until I was almost 40, going through all of those rough patches in the journey towards the vision that God was putting in our hearts, to get to the place where I realized this is exactly what God has been preparing me for all of my life. This is where I'm supposed to be. And you too are exactly where you're supposed to be. Whether you're seeing it as part of the whole vision yet or not, you are in God's hands. This is where He has you. This opportunity for business, these people that you get to serve, people on your Facebook page, the people in your classes, the people who are buying your products, your clients, these are the people that you get to serve. This is part of His vision, whether you can see the big picture yet or not. The people on Nehemiah's journey were part of his vision. The people who helped him build the walls were part of that vision. You and I are part of the vision. Because if those walls had never been restored, we wouldn't be talking about that story and the impact that that man's obedience made on our lives yet today. And so I want to encourage you tonight to be thinking about all the different ways that God is working in your story. Because this is not just your story, it's His story. And when we can take a step back and see it as His story, then we get to give Him glory for all the things that He is doing in our lives. So just as Nehemiah was always focusing back on God, the gracious hand of my God did this. The gracious hand of my God allowed this. The hand of God is with us. Our God will give us the victory. Recognize that this is God's story, and He has chosen you. He has chosen your business. He has chosen your influence for this moment in time and for the future impact that it will have. It's time to recognize our story as part of God's bigger story. Give Him praise and embrace what He's doing in our lives in this moment. So I hope those will be some thoughts that you can think over this weekend. Again, we're just really excited to be here and sharing some views of Campeche with you guys. This is one of my favorite spots in the whole world. Love being here. Love watching the kids play on the monument. We're right by the they call this the boardwalk or the malecon, but it's several miles long all the way down the coast here. I wish it had been a prettier sunset tonight, but I hope you caught a glimpse of the glory that I get to see every evening here as the sun sets over the bay in Campeche. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another lesson and encourage you to seek the Lord and what He's doing in your story as part of His bigger story. God bless you guys. Have a great night.